Hey everybody, it's Indigo and I'm back with another PCGS unboxing. And in this one we had a couple Morgans, we had a Barber $50, a couple Walkers, Stand Liberty quarter, had some Washington quarters as usual, had a few varieties including a proof coin, very nice clad variety, and then had a Buffalo nickel. And so I do have the grades that I thought they would grade, and we'll go over that. Now, this is not a complete blind unboxing. I do know the grades. I know what they are. But we'll get the papers out of the box. But I'll kind of go over the coins and then show you what I thought they were. First up is a 36S Buffalo nickel. And I don't know how to grade Buffaloes. I will be the first to admit that. I'm no good at it. And looking at the coin now, I see a bunch of little tick marks on the coin. But I don't see any wear. And that, to me, that's going to come up in a second. Sorry about the dryer. But very pretty coin. I thought this was going to be a 64. I do see some of the circulation ticks now, so it should have been, in my opinion, a 58, but they gave this a 55, and I don't see any wear on this coin whatsoever. There's maybe you could argue right here on the Buffalo, but I think that's mostly strike, honestly. So anyway, that one got a 55. Not worth sending in, but you know, we did okay in the rest of it. So up next is a clad Washington quarter. This is 1970D, and this is the FS 101. And most of that is down here in the date. You can kind of see the notching in the 7, cat's eye in the 0, how thick it is on the 1 and the 9. There's a little bit of notching on the W in the motto "In God We Trust." Really cool coin. This is actually the second one of these I've sent in. I sent in one for Dirty Water Coins and Collectibles. Shout out to him. And this one I bought like a month after him, or after I sent his in, because I got to see it in person, see how awesome it was. This one graded an XF 45. I want to say there's only like 6 higher. I'll put the population data up here. All these coins, I forgot to mention at the beginning, all these coins have gold shield, so they'll all have true view. Feel free to pause, take the cert number, look it up, see what they got, see what they look like if you want to. Next up, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, that one I was actually spot on. That one graded a 45. So the third coin up is going to be the 68S proof. It is the DDR FS 801, and I thought it was going to grade a proof 67. Very nice, very clean coin, no white marks on it. I bought this from Adam, Coins and Ghouls, and it was still in the original mint package. So very nice coin, no cameo whatsoever. Very late stage die, but very, very clean coin. Does have a little bit of tone to it. As you can kind of see, there's a little bit of a haze. And this right here, that mark, is actually toning. It's not a scratch. It looks like a scratch. Well, it might be. I don't know. But at any rate, I said it was going to grade a 67, and they gave it a proof 68. They actually charged me a fee because they said this exceeded the value for the economy order. The price guide on this is ridiculous. I don't think there's any way in the world you could actually get the money for this coin that the price guide says, but they value this coin at like $450 for a clad 68 proof variety with no cameo whatsoever. I could see it if it had some cameo and it was the top pop, but this is the top pop for this this variety. And like I said, I thought 67, they gave it a 68. Next up is a 64 Washington quarter DDR FS 803, and I thought it was going to grade a 55. And the reverse, I think, is probably a 55. So you see some of that extra thickness up here in America. See how thick the M is, the of, the E and the S is all just super thick down there. Again, this will have true view on it. And there is the obverse. The obverse was probably not a 55. And they agreed with that, and they said it was a 45, which honestly feels a little harsh to me. I don't think there's enough wear to call this a 45, maybe a 50 or 53, but they called it a 45, so I was way off on that one. Again, sorry for the dryer. Next up is a 59 Denver, and I thought this one would be a 66 plus, and you will see why when we flip it to the obverse. Nicely toned, kind of splotchy reverse. Got some nice color in it though on the left side. Pretty coin. Reverse is all there. Not really any distracting marks. The obverse, however, is beautifully toned. But right there in front of Washington's face, you see that scratch? That's what kept this coin from being a 67. The color is there for a 7, but that scratch is just too obvious. It's too distracting. So I said 66 plus, and they just said plain old 66. I'm not mad at that. I think that's probably accurately graded. But look at the coin. I mean, that is as rainbow toned as you can get. Next up, 58 Denver, and this one I thought 66 plus. Now, I already have a 58 Denver in a 67, and I bought it off Great Collections. 58 Denver is an extremely common date for nicely toned coins, and this is not one of them, and I think I just showed you the grade anyway. It is a 66. The luster is a little bit lacking on this one, and I want to say this one right here is also in a similar boat, but the luster is just not there. I think the coin technically is clean enough to be a 7, but there's just no luster to it. Okay, next up, and I missed it because over here I forgot to check, but I actually had two 58 Denvers, and this is the other one right here. Much prettier toning. It got some green down there on the bottom. This is extremely common toning for this year, but very nice coin. It does have a mark up here behind the eagle's head, right there. Overall, pretty nice, nice reverse there. And then you get to the obverse, and again, there are some marks out here in front of Washington's eye. However, they're not as distracting as the 59 was. So there's the 59. It just catches the light. It shines the wrong color right there. These aren't quite as obnoxious, I guess would be a good way to put it. But this one they gave a 7. So they said this one was a nice 67. Or a 67, and this one was only a 66. That's splitting hairs, but you know, this is the first silver Washington I've gotten a 67 on that wasn't a proof, and I will take that. It is a very nicely toned coin. I don't think it's technically the nicest coin I have. You can also see the mark down here in front of the chin. But still a 67, still a nice coin. Next up is a 1958 Philadelphia, and this one I said was going to grade a 66. Reverse, this one definitely has more luster than the first 58 Denver. Reverse, beautiful reverse actually, very nicely toned. Obverse has kind of got some haze, especially out here on this right side over here and down on the bottom of the bust. I think this one was probably an immense set, and it is not the prettiest obverse on this one. There is, I think that's a mark right over the D in God down there, but I think this coin is technically cleaner than this 58 that graded 67. And I don't think there's any really distracting marks on it, but it's got that haze to it. And because of that, they gave this one a 66. Out of those four, let me kind of pull them up real quick. Out of those four, tell me which one in the comments that you like the best out of these four, and I'll zoom out just a little bit. So we had the 59 Denver with that kind of mark out in the field with the really beautiful rainbow tone. Had the first 58 Denver, which was fairly mark free, but also fairly luster free. Had the 58 Denver with the beautiful rainbow tone, but it's kind of got those marks out in the field as well. Again, very similar to the 59 Denver. And then had the 58 Philadelphia with the haze on it, but essentially mark free. I mean, this is a really attractive coin to me. Honestly, being perfectly honest, knowing the grades and everything, I still think this is the nicest of these four coins. I think the eye appeal is really nice on these. The toning is beautiful. This one's the nicest coin. This one should have gotten a 7, in my opinion. But I don't work for PCGS. They didn't ask me, and they just gave it a 6. So, like I said, let me know which one of these you like the best. So, 4.4 through 4.7, and let me know in the comments. Let me get these out of the way, and then we're going to move on to a treat. So next up, we have the Standing Liberty Quarter, 1924, and I had it down as a Mint State 62, and look at that reverse. I bought this coin from Sean, so Blue Ridge Silverhound, shout out to him, on his whatnot, and it is gorgeous. Like I said, I thought this was a 62. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I didn't see any real wear anywhere. I thought the strike was really nice. The luster is all there. You kind of see it, especially on the reverse. The obverse, I don't think has as much luster. I was worried a little bit about this coin getting a questionable color or cleaned, just because of how much luster there is on the reverse in comparison to the obverse. I don't think there's actual wear on this. I think there's just a few marks, but they gave this one a 58. And honestly, as long as it's straight graded, I think a 58 is not a bad grade at all, especially for that. You do not see Standing Liberty quarters that look like that. That thing is gorgeous. So I am extremely happy with this one. I don't care what the price guide said. That's not a price guide coin. That's one that goes for a little bit more. Next up, had two Walking Liberty half dollars, a 42 and a 36. The 42 I said was an MS63, and the 36 I said was an MS64. So really, really pretty coin. definitely uncirculated. This one is not going to be AU, and mostly mark free on the leg there. There are a few tick marks out in the field, but nothing obscene by any stretch. I think this one is a really nice coin, which is partly why I submitted it. Glad to have it, and I was correct, and it got a mint state 63. Okay, next up is the 36, and again, gorgeous coin. Little tiny toning spot right up here on the dot between United and States, but very nice luster, very clean coin, really pretty reverse. Again, mostly mark free. There's a little tiny bit of chatter right here on the hip. The field is a little bit cleaner though. Don't see as many of those marks out in there. There's a couple right here, and that's pretty much it in the fields. And I said this one was going to get a 64, and it got a 65. So definitely glad to have that one. Exceeded expectations a little bit, which is always nice. That's 2 of them so far. 3 coins that have exceeded expectations. Don't worry, we're going to come back to reality in a minute. Next up is the Barber half, the FS 501, which is the inverted mint mark, and I thought it would grade a VF 25. And there is the reverse. Nice circulated Barber. And let me zoom in a little bit more. There you can see that kind of inverted mint mark, so it's supposed to look like that. And they just punched it in upside down. Remember, these were hand punched back in 1909, and this is a 1909S, but nice coin. A lot of detail still, not really a lot of liberty. It's almost fully visible, but not completely. The E and the R are a little weak, but otherwise really nice coin. Nice rims on there. Nice circulated look to it. Love the toning. Got a fine 15, so missed the mark on that one quite a bit. 2 points or 2 grades on that one. Not ideal. And then the last 2 coins are actually from my father-in-law. An 1881 and an 1881S. The 81 I thought was an MS60, and the 81S I thought was a 63 plus. So the 81, again, it is uncirculated, but it's got a lot of chatter to it. You see it here kind of in the field right here, right in here. There's a lot of little hits, some over the In God We Trust and below it. Not the best looking coin, but it is uncirculated, and I just kind of wanted it protected for him. It does have a very nice tone to it. Nice little album tone there. And it got a 62, which, again, better than I thought. 2 points higher than that. So it's straight graded, which was a win, and it graded higher than I thought it would, which was a win. And then the last coin in this submission is this 1881S. Again, it's got a few hits above and below the motto right there, but the rest of the reverse is really nice. There's one bag mark right here on the eagle's breast, and that's pretty much it. I guess there's one mark here or so out in the field. And then the obverse, I was really worried that they were going to see that mark right there and say that it was scratched. Now that is a contact mark. I don't think it's a staple scratch or anything like that, but it's very straight, and it does catch the eye a little bit, but I think it happened when it was in a bag at some point. But really nice almost proof-like, not quite, but almost proof-like obverse. Very pretty. Again, nice peripheral tone to it, and very, very, very clean cheek. And they gave this one a mint state 65, so much better than the 63 plus that I was thinking. But with as clean as the cheek was on that one, it had to go in, even if it had to scratch. But they said it was a market acceptable scratch, and I am happy to see that. So congratulations to my father-in-law on those two. And overall, I think that was a pretty good submission. Zoom back out a little bit. I had the first 67 that I've gotten on a silver quarter, even if I don't agree that it was the nicest one that I sent in, which, okay. Had the 65 Walker, which very happy to have that. I am kind of building, not killing myself to do it, but I am kind of building a little Walker set. And the beautifully toned Standing Liberty quarter, which again, you just don't see SLQs like that. Almost wish they had reverse mounted this one, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it either. And then the proof, the Top Pop proof variety. So all in all, I'm not really mad at any of it. I am scratching my head on this one. I don't see how this is a 55. But again, like I said, I can't grade buffaloes. I don't know what I'm doing there. So with that being said, if you're still watching, thank you. And I will go ahead and throw up the true views for all of these with the grade and the population and the pop hire and the price guide value. Don't put a lot of stock in the price guide, but I will throw all that up and just run through the slideshow. And for the varieties, I will try to show just the obverse or reverse and point out what the variety actually is. But with that, thanks for watching, and please hit that thumbs up.